Your boss smiles, her voice warm with praise. You're indispensable, she says, handing you a small bonus. You glow, unaware of the late nights she'll soon demand, the boundaries she'll erode. In 1999, a charming CEO convinced employees to work unpaid, promising future riches. They adored him, even as their savings drained. He used one trick, so subtle it's invisible. What if that trick is guiding you right now? In your job, your relationships, your screen. Welcome to the manipulator's favorite trap. You never see it coming. She was your new friend, radiant and attentive. At coffee, she leaned in, hanging on your every word. You're so insightful, she said, her eyes locked on yours. You felt alive, chosen. Weeks later, she needed favors, small at first, then constant. You gave, chasing that first glow, never noticing how she dimmed when you hesitated. This is how it begins. A spark of affirmation, perfectly timed, that hooks you before you know you're caught. Manipulators don't start with demands. They start with rewards, tiny, intoxicating doses of validation that feel like love. Psychologists call these breadcrumb rewards, calculated crumbs of praise, attention, or promises that keep you tethered, hungry for more. In 1999, Enron CEO Jeff Skilling mastered this. He showered employees with bonuses, stock options, and public acclaim, calling them the best. They worked grueling hours, ignored fraud, believed in his vision. When Enron collapsed, they lost everything, yet many still defended him. Why? Because the crumbs were their reality. This isn't rare. It's a method older than cities, sharpened by science, amplified by technology. Parents use it to guilt children. Partners use it to control. Corporations use it to exploit. Algorithms perfect it daily. It's not cartoon villainy or overt coercion. It's the art of making you crave the next crumb until you forget who you were without it. Feel your phone in your pocket. That last notification, the one that made you smile, was it a message or a crumb? The question is this: what if the rewards guiding you aren't gifts? What if they're bait and you're already chasing? Your coworker texts you after a tough meeting. You handled that perfectly, he writes. You beam, grateful for the support. Later, he asks you to cover his shift. You agree, still warm from his words. Soon, his compliments grow sparse, but the requests pile up. You keep helping, chasing that first spark, blind to how you've lost your weekends. Here's the first shock. The reward wasn't kindness. It was a leash. Breadcrumb rewards don't just hook, they rewire. In the 1960s, psychologist B.F. Skinner studied operant conditioning, training animals with small, intermittent rewards. A pigeon would peck a button for a crumb, even when the reward came rarely. Humans are no different. The CIA's MKUltra program, exposed in the 1970s, took this further. Declassified files reveal experiments using praise and approval to shape behavior, making subjects dependent on their handler's validation. The trick wasn't force, it was addiction. Manipulators like your coworker, knowingly or not, use the same blueprint: a crumb of affirmation, then silence, until you're conditioned to obey for the next hit. The twist is darker. This addiction erodes your self-trust. Each crumb makes you doubt your own worth, tying your value to the manipulator's approval. Think of that friend who always compliments your style, then subtly needs your time, your money, your loyalty. Or the app that sends a "you're on a streak" badge, urging you to keep posting. You chase the glow, but each step pulls you deeper into their design. Online, fans worship influencers who drop rare "thank you" comments, working harder for their idol's nod. You're not just hooked, you're fractured, and the manipulator's hand is steady. Your partner comes home, tense from work. You cook dinner, hoping to lift their mood. They smile, touch your hand, say, "You always know what I need." Your chest warms. Days later, they're distant, critical, but you keep trying, cooking, pleasing, waiting for that smile again. You don't see it. You're not nurturing love. You're chasing a crumb, and it's reshaping you. This is the manipulator's toolkit, built on emotional hijacking. The first weapon is love bombing, overwhelming you with affirmation to create a high you'll spend years chasing. That partner's early days were a flood of adoration. Texts, gifts, promises. Now, their fleeting praise keeps you tethered. Micro-gaslighting is the second blade. Subtle denials that make you question your reality. I never said that. They say when you recall their promise, or you're too sensitive when you protest. You doubt yourself, leaning harder on their crumbs. Breadcrumb rewards are the third. Sporadic, unpredictable affirmations that keep you hooked, like a gambler at a slot machine. Finally, social grooming binds you to their world, making you fear losing their circle, their approval, their reality. Psychologically, this exploits your brain's wiring. Your nucleus accumbens, the reward center, lights up with each crumb, releasing dopamine that mimics love or success. But the unpredictability, crumbs come randomly, creates a compulsion loop stronger than consistent rewards. A 2018 study in Nature Neuroscience found intermittent reinforcement drives addiction faster than steady praise. Your partner's rare smile, that app's occasional badge, hit harder because they're scarce. Cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes when the crumbs stop, making you desperate to please. This is cognitive hijacking. Your mind isn't yours anymore. Socially, you're vulnerable. You seek belonging, so you tolerate the crumbs. That boss who praises you once a quarter, then piles on work. You stay, fearing you'll lose status. That friend who texts, "You're amazing," but always needs a favor. You comply, dreading their withdrawal. Online, algorithms groom you with likes, retweets, or top fan badges, making you fear disconnection. A 2023 UCLA study found social media users feel anxious when likes drop, pushing them to post more. You're not connecting. You're performing for crumbs. Spiritually, this is a theft of your core. Every wisdom tradition warns of false promises, not wealth, but validation that binds. The Taoist Wu Wei urges effortless being, yet manipulators make you strive for their nod. The Christian false prophets aren't just preachers. They're voices that make you doubt your soul. Your reality becomes their design, a phantom reward you chase instead of truth. What if your deepest hunger isn't for approval, but for a self they've buried? Micro story. Last week, your manager emailed, "Great job on the report." You worked late, proud, expecting more. Days passed, silence. Then another task, no praise. You took it, hoping for the next great job. That's breadcrumb rewards, pulling you into their rhythm. Micro story. Your new date sent flowers, called you perfect. You fell hard. Now, they reply slowly, cancel plans, but drop a sweet text just when you pull back. You wait, hooked on their next move. That's the trap, and you're in it. Your mother hugged you after you cleaned the house as a kid. "You're my helper," she said, her warmth everything. But when you slacked, her silence stung. You cleaned harder, chasing her hug, never questioning why her love felt earned. This isn't just family, it's history's blueprint. Breadcrumb rewards shaped the past. In the 1980s, cult leader Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh built a utopia in Oregon, drawing thousands with promises of enlightenment. He gave followers personal blessings, rare smiles, fleeting praise. They worked tirelessly, donated fortunes, abandoned families, all for his next crumb. When the cult collapsed, many still revered him, unable to see the trap. In the 1990s, corporate giants like Amway used recognition ceremonies to reward top sellers with public acclaim, keeping them loyal despite meager profits. Employees chased the spotlight, blind to exploitation. Even abusive relationships follow this script. In a 1995 case, a woman stayed with her partner for years despite violence. He'd apologize with flowers, call her his world, then withdraw. She lived for those moments, convinced they were love. Historians trace this to ancient Rome, where emperors tossed coins to crowds, ensuring loyalty with sporadic gifts. The method endures because it works. A crumb of reward outweighs a lifetime of pain. The CIA's Operation Mockingbird, alleged in the 1970s, weaponized this. Declassified files suggest media was seeded with stories praising government, rewarding journalists with access or prestige. Citizens trusted the news, unaware they were fed crumbs to shape their beliefs. Today's algorithms are the heirs, doling out digital rewards to keep you aligned. The board hasn't changed, only the players. Your screen lights up, a colleague slacks. Love your presentation. You grin, post another slide deck, craving more. The likes trickle in, 3, then none. You tweak, post again, anxious for the next hit. This isn't ambition, it's the machine, and you're its subject. Social media thrives on breadcrumb rewards. In 2021, a TikTok whistleblower revealed algorithms prioritize engagement spikes, rewarding users with rare boosts, likes, shares, viral moments that keep them posting. A 2023 case showed teens chasing For You page fame, spiraling into anxiety when views dropped. Instagram's 2023 leaks exposed how Explore page placements hook creators with fleeting visibility, pushing them to churn content. These aren't tools, they're traps. A 2025 Pew Research study found 68% of users feel empty when engagement lags, yet they can't stop. The fear of disconnection fuels this. Apps notify you of friends' activity, dangling crumbs of inclusion. Miss a group chat reply, and you're ghosted. Post a story, and you're seen. A 2024 Stanford experiment showed users check apps 150 times daily, driven by fear of missing rewards. Corporate platforms like LinkedIn gamify your career. Badges for top contributor or profile strength keep you updating, networking, chasing crumbs of status. You're not building a life, you're feeding the machine. Micro story, you joined a fitness app, got a great start, badge after one workout. You push harder, chasing weekly champion. When badges stopped, you felt like a failure, doubled your workouts. That's the machine owning your effort. Micro story, your group chat buzzed with praise for your meme. You posted more, but the laughs faded. You stayed up, crafting funnier ones, desperate for their emojis. That's the trap, and it's eating your sleep. Your therapist nods, says, you're making progress. You feel strong, seen. But now, you filter every choice through their lens. What would they think? You don't notice, you're not healing. You're obeying, and the crumbs are your own. Here's the final shock. The ultimate manipulation isn't from others, it's you. You've internalized the trick, rewarding yourself with the same crumbs you were fed. That boss's praise, that friend's text, that app's like, they're in your head, shaping your thoughts. You chase their echo, punishing yourself when it fades. In the 1980s, cult survivors described internal gurus, mental voices replaying their leader's praise, keeping them loyal years after escape. You do this too, craving validation you've been trained to need. Is free will real when you're your own manipulator? A 2024 Google leak exposed AI systems predicting behavior with 93% accuracy, not for ads, but for compliance optimization. They don't control your soul, they program your patterns. A 2025 Oxford study found you check your phone 150 times a day, each tap a self-inflicted crumb. Philosophers warned of this. Descartes feared a demon shaping our reality. Nietzsche decried herd morality, blind obedience to external cues. Socrates urged doubt as freedom's root. They saw the trap before screens existed. Today, you're the trap. Every choice, every doubt, every silence, you reward or punish yourself, echoing their design. The 2025X platform leaks showed how algorithms amplify self-punishment loops, pushing users to conform. You like that post, chased that trend, felt that shame. You built the cage. You can't unlearn the trick. You can't unfeel the crumbs. The question isn't whether you're trapped, it's whether you'll notice before you lock the cage tighter. The rewards are heavy, but they're not eternal. Every pause, every question, every moment you resist shifts the design. But the machine is patient. It waits. It dangles. It whispers. And it bets you'll chase. Close your eyes. Feel the pull of the next crumb. It's in your work, your texts, your screen. You're reaching, and the source is invisible. But what if you stopped? What if you let the hunger pass, just for a moment? Picture the last time you felt whole. Not chasing likes, not pleasing others, but grounded in your own silence. That's the crack in the machine, the place where the crumbs lose their power. Freedom isn't escape. It's not rebellion. It's a choice, made in the quiet when you refuse to chase what's offered. But freedom is fragile. The machine is vast, and its whispers are cunning. They know you'll crave the next reward, the illusion of worth. They know you'll return. What would it take to defy them? Now let's stay here. Breathe. Feel the air, the weight of this truth. You felt the crumbs, seen the trap, heard the whispers. But you're still here, still you for now. The machine is vast, but it's not infinite. It needs your hunger, your chase, your surrender. What if you refused, even for a day? Here's a challenge. Sit in silence. No phone, no noise, just you for 10 minutes. Notice every urge to check, to please, to seek a crumb. That pull is the machine tugging you back to its design. But every moment you stay still, you reclaim a piece of yourself. You star the trap, you carve a space that's yours. You may not break free today. You may not break free tomorrow. But every time you feel the trick, you weaken its hold. The crumbs are theirs, but the silence is yours for now. The machine is still there. It's in your pocket, your mind, your hunger. It's waiting, certain you'll chase again. But you've seen the trick. You know its power. And that changes everything. The design is silent now. The next choice is yours. What will you do?